I went camping with my wife and her group of friends. After a short walk down the trail with my 10-year-old son, everything changed. The laughter, the tents, the food, the cars, gone. All that remained was silence and a folded note on the table, held down by a stone. My son picked it up, his hands trembling. In his mother's handwriting were the words, "This is for the best." Trust me, they hadn't gotten lost. They hadn't gone for help. They had walked away, leaving us behind in the middle of the wilderness with no supplies, no way to call for help, and no way out. My son's eyes filled with fear as he whispered, "Dad, are we going to die here?" I swallowed the panic clawing at my throat and put my hand on his shoulder. "No, son, we're going to survive. And when we do, they'll regret what they did." That first night was brutal. We had no shelter, no food, just the cold ground beneath us and the stars overhead. My son curled up against me, shivering. I had only my jacket and half a bottle of water. But I had something stronger than that, determination. Over the next few days, survival became our only focus. We built a makeshift lean-to out of branches and leaves. I showed him how to catch rainwater in a hollow log and squeeze it through my shirt to drink. Hunger gnawed at us constantly, so I taught him how to find berries that were safe to eat and how to set small snares using shoelaces. At night, the sound of coyotes made him cling tighter to me, so I told him stories of how my own father had taught me these same skills. By the fourth day, exhaustion was taking its toll. His lips cracked, his legs gave out easily, and he kept asking if we would make it. I looked into his tired eyes and forced myself to smile. "We're not dying out here. We'll show them who we are." On the sixth day, we stumbled upon a stream. We drank until our bellies ached, and for the first time, hope returned. On the 10th day, following the stream downhill, we finally reached a dirt road. Just as I thought we couldn't take another step, a park ranger's truck appeared. His eyes went wide when he saw us, dirty, bruised, and barely standing. "People have been searching for you for over a week," he said. "Your wife claimed you wandered off and never came back." My son clenched his jaw, his voice hard and cold. "She lied." And I nodded. This was no misunderstanding. It was betrayal. When we returned to town, the world saw us as a miracle, father and son surviving against all odds. But inside, I knew it was just the beginning of another fight. At the police station, they explained what my wife and her friends had claimed. They told everyone we'd gotten lost. They pretended to be worried, even claimed to help search. But the truth was easy to see. No flyers, no follow-up, no actual effort. They had abandoned us. That night, my daughter threw herself into my arms, crying. She whispered, "I knew she was lying. She told everyone you ran away, but I didn't believe her." My son, his voice raw from the wilderness, added, "She left us to die. I'll never forgive her." At that moment, I realized justice wasn't just for me. It was for my children. The next morning, I called my lawyer. We gathered every scrap of proof. The note, medical reports, testimony from a ranger and the police, and even financial records showing my wife and her friends enjoying spas and restaurants while we were supposedly missing. We didn't confront them directly. We built a case so strong it would destroy them from the inside out. The truth unraveled quickly. Investigators discovered bank statements, social media posts of them drinking and laughing, and of course, the handwritten note. They called it what it really was: attempted murder by abandonment. The media exploded with headlines. Father and son survived 10 days after being left to die. Wife and friends faced criminal charges. Public outrage turned my wife and her friends into villains overnight. Their employers cut ties. Their families distanced themselves. And even old friends abandoned them. In court, I fought for full custody of my children. The judge granted it immediately, stripping her of any rights. I filed civil suits for damages, medical bills, and emotional harm. Their accounts were frozen, their lifestyle shattered. The final blow came when my son stood up in court, his voice small but steady. "She left us to die. I don't want to live with her ever again." The room fell silent. My wife sobbed, but no one moved to comfort her. In the end, the verdict was clear: guilty. They were sentenced to prison for reckless endangerment and attempted manslaughter. Once smug and untouchable, now they stood in handcuffs, their reputations ruined, their futures erased. For me and my son, true justice came not from their downfall, but from our survival. We had walked out of the woods alive, stronger than ever. Months later, I spoke at a survival fundraiser, not as a victim, but as proof of resilience. My son sat beside me, taller, prouder, hardened but unbroken. Years later, I read in the paper that my wife's request for early release had been denied for lack of remorse. I didn't feel anger anymore, only pity. My son had grown into a man of strength and loyalty, and together, we carried our story into schools and survival programs, teaching others not just how to endure the wilderness, but how to rise from betrayal. One evening after a keynote speech, my son leaned close and whispered with a faint smile, "Dad, remember the note? This is for the best." Trust me. I nodded and he chuckled. Turns out she was right. It really was for the best. They thought leaving us in that forest would destroy us. Instead, it destroyed them. And from that moment on, we walked forward, not just alive, but unstoppable.